Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris plans a return to Wisconsin this week, where she plans to be as she continues her campaign in Wisconsin. Plus, as campaign season heads for Election Day, we'll hear from some of the youngest people who will be voting in November, what they're looking for in a president. And later, as the hot and dry conditions continue across the area, what some farmers are saying about the impact it's having on their crops. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Well, good evening. Thanks for watching. We begin with Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign announcing plans to return to Madison this week. And while details about this rally were not immediately available, campaign officials confirm it'll be held Friday in the early evening hours. Just days ago, the Associated Press reported Vice President Harris would visit Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin in an effort to shore up the so-called blue wall. The vice president has made 8 stops in Wisconsin this year, including 4 just since President Biden dropped his re-election bid. And Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance will be stopping in Eau Claire tomorrow. This will take place at the city's event center at 4:30 p.m. This will be his second visit to Eau Claire in just over a month. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name will stay on the ballot in Wisconsin this November. This after a Dane County judge ruled that state law clearly states presidential candidates who have submitted nomination papers cannot be removed from the ballot unless they die. Kennedy's attorney says they will appeal this ruling. Kennedy suspended his campaign and endorsed former President Trump after the August 6th deadline for independent candidates to remove their name from the ballot. County clerks now face a Wednesday deadline to print ballots and distribute them to more than 1,800 local officials in cities, towns, and villages who run elections. Well, as part of our 3 for the People coverage, we're tackling political topics that matter to you. And this week, we're covering the youth vote. And our Meryl Hubbard went to the UW-Madison campus to see what students had to say.
As part of our 3 for the People initiative, I'm talking about the young vote ahead of the 2024 election. So I'm on UW-Madison's campus to ask students, what does this election mean to you?
This is the most important election of my life.
I think this election is a fight for our future. It's a fight for all of us.
I'm very excited about a South Asian woman being on the ballot.
The youth vote is defined by those in the 18 to 29 age range. This demographic historically has a lower voter turnout compared to ages 30 and beyond.
Voter turnout was a little higher in 2020 among younger voters, but their overall proportion of the electorate didn't increase very much because other groups also voted more. And so if young people want to increase their power, they're going to need to increase by kind of an order of magnitude more than other demographic groups.
For the 2024 election, there are some key issues that are bringing young voters out to the polls.
I'm a single-issue voter. Whoever's more pro-life, I'll vote for.
As a young woman, especially in my 20s, I care a lot about my health, women's health, all the LGBTQ plus health.
I think it's a great opportunity to try and promote unity in our country.
A number of students are part of political organizations on campus to inspire people to vote for their ideal party.
This election for me is kind of just the line between whether or not we want the rights and liberties that we've fought for, or if we're ready to regress on those sorts of things.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people would agree that these 2 candidates are not particularly popular. So trying to advance conservative ideas and still trying to find a way to support the Republican platform despite a less than traditional Republican candidate is really important.
If the young demographic turns out in larger numbers this year, it can make the difference on who wins the presidential race.
In a close state like Wisconsin, the youth vote could be the determining factor in who becomes the next president.
Looking ahead, on Tuesday, we're going to take a deep dive into social media's role on political information and misinformation. Reporting in Madison, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
Now to continuing coverage of the apparent assassination attempt of former President Trump yesterday. A suspect in the case now faces formal weapons charges in Florida. This as the FBI and Secret Service revealed new details about that suspect. They say Ryan Wesley Routh was near the former president's golf course for 12 hours. Prosecutors believe he was targeting Trump as the former president was playing golf about 300 to 500 yards away. A Secret Service agent spotted the gun muzzle peeking through the perimeter tree line and fired that way. According to court documents, Routh fled, leaving behind an AK-47 style rifle, a scope, a digital camera, 2 bags, and also a plastic bag with food.
The way we are positioned right now in this dynamic threat environment, it has given me guidance to say, you know what, we need to look at what our protective methodology is. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model.
Well, the suspect is scheduled to be back in court next Monday. Trump is scheduled to hold his next campaign event in Michigan tomorrow. Conditions remain warm and dry. Let's check your first warn forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington out on the weather patio. Alex?
Eric, all of that warm and dry out here on the patio. In fact, on Friday before I left for the weekend, I filled up our bird bath it was completely dried out when I came here this afternoon. So animals are needing that water too as we continue this very warm and dry stretch across southern Wisconsin. It's still 80 degrees out. Our normal high temperature is closer to 70 degrees for this time of year. Calm winds. Dew points come up a little bit, so just a touch of humidity actually out there, so making it feel a little bit warmer than 80 degrees. But 80, once again, a very warm temperature for the middle to latter portion of July as we go through the rest of the evening. Jacob will be here at 10. We're at 70. Overnight low temperature is upper 50s to the lower 60s when you wake up Tuesday morning. So maybe a night yet you could still open up the windows, but probably want to shut those windows again for as warm of temperatures as we're going to continue to expect over the course of the next couple of days, actually really the next 10 days. Now fall, believe it or not, starts in 6 days next Sunday. There's no hint of fall-like weather in our forecast. Dry is also a major part of our weather story. Last big rain, 8/10 that we had, was way back on August 30th, and then the rain just turned right off. And we've had several weeks, as we're all aware, of very dry conditions combined with increasing temperatures, mid-upper 80s on many of these days these past 2 weeks in September. That's part of the 3 things you need to get out of this forecast. We'll go into further detail about the warm weather, the dry conditions, and the rain chances that we have this upcoming weekend. And I'm going to take us beyond that all the way to the end of September and give you the temperature and the precipitation forecast coming up.
All right, Alex, thank you. Summer, as you mentioned, hanging on as we inch closer to fall with all this dry and warm weather. Our Jalen Banks joins us live now from Fitchburg on how this recent stretch of weather is really impacting local crops. Jalen?
Eric, it's, as Alex just mentioned, it's been a hot and dry September, which is in stark contrast to the very rainy start of the year that we had saw during the spring and in the early parts of the summer. And for those here at the Apple Garden Orchard, all of this back and forth is keeping them on their toes. September has been hot, and with fall just a few days away, pumpkin patches and apple picking will start to ramp up. I caught up with one orchard this afternoon, and they tell me from the super wet start of the year in the spring to the warm and dry end of the summer, there have been some challenges.
Happy it stopped raining, right? This spring we had an inordinate amount of rain, which gave our own challenges, and now it's hot and dry. So that's farming, you get everything. We have a great crop of apples this year, pumpkins not so much.
However, they have continued to adapt to what has been a roller coaster of a year.
So that's part of the challenges of farming. People don't always realize what it takes to get food on the table, but we have to be diversified, and so we have different crops, and that helps as well.
As for the most recent stretch of less than ideal weather for farmers, I talked to our First Warn weather team, and they say the next 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 days look much warmer than normal. Now, I'm playing, meteorologist somewhat here, but I spoke with our First Warn weather team, and they share with me we could get a little rain this upcoming weekend, but then after that, we're going to go into another dry spell. So hopefully this weekend we can get enough just to lessen some of the dryness that we've been seeing here throughout southern Wisconsin. But for now, reporting in Fitchburg, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Richland County leaders are providing a statement after residents had their personal information exposed during a data breach. It happened last year, but people are just now hearing about it, and some of the information includes Social Security numbers, banking information, and phone numbers. Now, here's the statement, which reads in part, quote, Richland County continually evaluates and modifies its practices to enhance the security and privacy of personal information and are taking measures to augment its existing cybersecurity, end quote. For more on the story, you can head to channel3000.com. Well, the school district of Janesville's Delivering Bags of Hope is having a fundraiser concert at the Rock County Historical Society on Thursday. Delivering Bags of Hope provides 350 families and 50 senior citizens with 2 weeks of groceries over winter break. That's when students aren't in school and aren't able to receive free and or reduced price breakfasts and lunches. It's the 6th year now for Delivering Bags of Hope, and organizers say they wouldn't be able to make such a positive impact if it wasn't for the community stepping up in a big way.
We have raised $50,000 for the past 5 years, and prior to that, it was around $40,000. But the community comes out and helps all of our families as much as they can, either like Heather said, volunteering or by donations. Before the concert, $45 at the gate.
On the bench press, it goes from 6:30 to 9 p.m. on Thursday outside the Rock County Historical Society in Janesville. We have a link to tickets at channel3000.com. We have $30 in advance, $45 at the door. Coming up on News 3 Now at 6, we take a look at the latest Coats for Kids tally. Plus, you have a chance to vote for Chocolate Shop Ice Cream's newest flavor. We'll reveal the finalists when we come back.
Watching News 3 Now at 6, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices.
From time to time, everyone can use a little help, especially after a serious accident. We'll take care of everything so you don't have to. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Nobody wants to replace the roof. But these days, many roofs are only lasting 10 to 15 years, costing you tens of thousands of dollars. RoofMax makes your roof like new by strengthening and rejuvenating it. RoofMax treatments, started early enough, can extend the life of your roof by 15 years or more. And even if you think your roof is at the end of its life, 90% of the time, RoofMax can extend the life of your roof by 5 years at a fraction of the cost of a new roof. So give us a call and we'll give you a free assessment to see if your roof qualifies.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging, and she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
At DePaco, your health and happiness are as important to us as your financial well-being. So when you're ready to take the first step, we'll help you make a plan and transform it into a lifelong commitment. Well-being is the key to a life worth loving. So when you think about yours, remember that DePaco can help you be well.
The final sprint to Election Day is on, and News 3 Now this morning is focused on the races and the policies that matter to you, the voter.
We're taking a look at both sides of the issues and where the candidates stand so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
And welcome back. The Coats for Kids campaign now enters its second week. News 3 Now teaming up with Clinky Cleaners, Boys and Girls Club of Dane County, and Magic 98 to try and collect 5,000 coats. And so far, the campaign has collected 607 coats. We also want to thank a generous donor for donating 44 hand-knitted hats to the Sun Prairie Clinky Cleaners. You have until October 5th to take new or gently used coats, hats, mittens, snow pants, and other winter outerwear to any area Clinky Cleaners location. They'll clean all those donations for free before sending them to the Boys and Girls Club for distribution. Now, if you don't have a winter coat, you can still help by buying a coat off the Coats for Kids Amazon wish list. You can find a link to that at channel3000.com/Coats for Kids. Now, local ice cream company Chocolate Shop needs your help deciding what should be its next new flavor. This after narrowing down more than 3,000 entries to just 3. And those finalists are Apple Cider Donut, Dulce de Leche Churro, and Red Velvet Revival. Voting is going on right now, and it'll run through September 25th. The winner will be announced on September 27th.
Make sure you get your votes in. I was going to say this. We're going to make the flavor next year. It'll be available in our shops, and if the sales go well, it could be another staple flavor on our menu for years to come.
So you can cast that vote online at the Chocolate Shop website or in person at any of their Madison locations. The new flavor will debut next summer. Still ahead, the city of Middleton adding a referendum question to the November ballot that will impact stormwater utility. Plus, allergists say it is one of the most dangerous times of the year for those with asthma. You can prevent an attack. And when's the next time we could actually see some rain? We sure need it. Alex with a complete forecast after the break.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I'm not old enough to vote yet, but I learned how 1 out of 6 of us will someday be raped.
So please, think about me when you vote. I learned how our freedom to have an abortion was taken away.
Even in cases of rape or incest.
Even to travel to get an abortion.
Please, think about me.
You know who got rid of Roe v. Wade.
Now women are being refused life-saving care at hospitals. And politicians are trying to ban birth control. Please, think about me. My parents call me their miracle daughter because I was born with IVF.
But IVF could be banned too.
Do they think we're less than human?
Do they think we can't make decisions about our own bodies? About our own lives? When you vote, please think about me.
And me.
And me.
Because the politician who got rid of Roe v. Wade, he couldn't care less.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups.
Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
I'm Joan Balwig, and these days the cost to make Great Grandma Balwig's Blue Ribbon banana bread is, well, just nuts. Wisconsin families are feeling the pinch of inflation, even on the basics. That's why I work to put dough back in your pockets. Led the effort to defend our family farms and pass the biggest tax cut in state history, because the only way to make life affordable again is to do what banana bread does and bring everyone to the table.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
It is the third week in September. That means today kicks off what experts call Asthma Peak Week. And if you're one of the more than 25 million people in the U.S. living with asthma, this time of the year can be actually dangerous. High levels of allergens, along with exposure to common respiratory viruses, combine to create a potential problem for asthma sufferers. But you can help prevent symptoms from getting worse, and that includes creating an asthma action plan.
If for some reason during the summertime you stopped taking them or you forgot to take them, I would say please get back on your controller medications.
She says to also remember the rule of twos. If you notice asthma more than 2 times a week, need to use asthma medications twice a week, or if you're waking up in the middle of the night because of your symptoms more than 2 times a month, that could mean your asthma is not under control. City of Middleton residents will decide on whether to approve a rate increase to fund the city's stormwater management program this November. The referendum will decide if residents are willing to increase the rate to $92 a year. Under the current structure, Middleton stormwater utility charges $45 a year. This money would allow the city to meet stricter regulations, upgrade infrastructure, and better prepare for future storms.
Things like street sweeping, leaf and yard waste collection. Those are things that we do because we want to keep pollutants out of the water. But we're not charging the stormwater utility for those costs. We're charging our taxpayers. So what's nice about this change in how we're funding the utility is that we would be spreading the costs around to all properties that generate stormwater.
So a yes vote would allow the city to adjust the fee based on actual costs, while a no vote means that property taxes will still cover any additional costs. Probably won't see much rain throughout the week. Alex returns now. A complete look at the forecast.
Eric, unfortunately not. Temperatures and water, those are the 2 things that our weather story. It has been for some time and will continue to be probably through, unfortunately, the end of the month. I'll get more into that in just a moment. Temperature trend over the course of the past 24 hours. A warm day on Sunday. We all felt that. We cooled down into the upper 50s. Remember, dry air cools down and heats up faster than wet air, and we made it back up into the middle to upper 80s here in Madison today. So another warm and dry day. Plan in the evening. I'm going to get a walk in here after that, so a nice night for that. Jacob will be here for the 10 o'clock newscast, where our temperatures will still be at 70 degrees. Can you believe it? That's our normal high for this time of year at 10 o'clock at night. Well, we got 80 right now in Madison, 85 in Lone Rock, 79 in Mineral Point, and 79 to the north up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties. This is About 10 to 15 degrees above normal, where we should be for this time of year. Waking up Tuesday morning, upper 50s to the lower 60s. That's about 10 degrees warmer than where we should be in the middle to end of September, but mild out there nonetheless. Just a little history here. Going back to earlier in the month, that's when the rain shut off at the end of August. We had a brief period where we cooled all the way down into the low to mid 60s, but that was just a thing of the past. We've been climbing steadily all the way up to 90 degrees yesterday, Sunday afternoon. Again, not feeling anything like middle of September, and we're not going to see anything like that over the next 10 days. Normal, 72 degrees today. As we go out into Tuesday, 72 degrees is the normal high as well. We'll do 86, mid-80s all the way to the weekend. We cool down a little bit over the weekend because we'll have some rain chances, but normal high temperatures are approaching 70, and we're still above that, going clear out into next week with the potential for another warm spell. More on that in just a moment. Rain chances, nothing this week, as Eric was mentioning before. So head towards the weekend, about a 30 to 40% coverage, which means we all stand the chance of getting wet this weekend, but there will be some folks that miss out on that too. We're down about 2 inches for the month of September. We're down about we're still up above 7 inches for the year, but that was 8 inches just a few days ago, and that's going to continue to go down quickly if we don't start adding some water to southern Wisconsin soils here. We have those chances as we head towards the first day of fall. Not feeling like fall at 79 degrees, but hopefully we get some rainfall as we head towards the weekend, and as we get closer, we'll be able to time that a little bit better. Going further out into the first few days of fall, this is the Climate Prediction Center showing us a above normal chance for rainfall. That's why we have those rain chances over the course of the weekend. But then as we go towards the end of the month, we head back towards a dry and a very warm pattern is expected across much of the country.
And coming up in sports, it's Braden Locke time for Wisconsin. Why he says Locke feels confident that he can lead that Badgers team on offense. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Women need to pay close attention
to what Eric Hovde says about access to abortion.
Hovde's all in about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And he wanted Roe overturned.
Do you think Roe versus Wade should be overturned?
Yes. So Eric Hovde is okay with politicians overruling decisions of doctors like me.
My patients worry about what Hovde will take away next.
A vote for Eric Hovde means we'll lose even more control over our lives.
Women Vote is responsible for the content of this ad.
Head to Menards and get an 11% rebate on everything. Menards has the largest in-stock selection of exterior lighting options to choose from. Check out our lighting showroom today and find your style with Patriot Lighting. Illuminate your outdoor space with this Taurine outdoor wall light. Now only $12.98 after rebate. Get year-round comfort and reduce your utility bill with this 52-inch gilt board ceiling fan. Available in 3 finishes, just $39.95 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Bidenomics is working.
It's not. ABC News proved it with charts.
It was under control
on
during
inflation,
the Trump administration, well below
gas,
$3 a gallon, 35%
and housing.
jump in home prices, folks.
Even CNN admits it.
When it comes to the economy, groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Yet Harris still says,
Bidenomics is working.
No, it isn't.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm not old enough to vote yet, but I learned how 1 out of 6 of us will someday be raped.
So please, think about me when you vote. I learned how our freedom to have an abortion was taken away.
Even in cases of rape or incest.
Even to travel to get an abortion.
You know who got rid of Roe v. Wade.
When you vote, please think about me. Because the politician who got rid of Roe v. Wade, he couldn't care less.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
Well, the news isn't good for Tyler Van Dyke. According to multiple reports, Wisconsin's QB1 is out for the year with a torn ACL in his right leg that he suffered 7 plays into Saturday's game. In a little over 2 games with the Badgers, TVD threw for 422 yards and a touchdown. So with Van Dyke out, that means the keys to the Badger offense are now in the hands of Braden Locke. And it's a situation that he's familiar with. Remember, last year, Locke came in for Tanner Mordecai when he was hurt and went 1-2 as the starter. This season, he's even more comfortable with the offense and says he's confident that he can lead Wisconsin.
You know, I think I obviously learned a lot last year, just dealing with that scenario already before. I think just the experience helps. You know, even though it was only 3.5 games, I feel confident. I feel confident in my preparation, and I feel confident in our locker room, and I believe in the guys in there.
The last time Wisconsin faced Marquette, the environment was unlike any other. Over 17,000 fans packed Pfizer Forum to watch the Badgers beat the Golden Eagles in 4 sets. Tomorrow, the rivalry is renewed at the Kohl Center. Now, the all-time series isn't close. UW leads it 22-1, but throw out the records on Tuesday night because Kelly Sheffield knows it's going to be a battle.
You got two really good teams, really high-level teams that are separated by about an hour. And we played a very competitive match at the Fiserv last year with the 2 teams, and I think it was incredibly entertaining. And I would expect nothing less from this tomorrow. A lot of experienced players that were a part of that match last year.
In 11 days, the reigning WCHA tournament champs dropped the puck on their season. And like usual, big things are expected out of Wisconsin women's hockey. Mark Johnson's squad is projected to win the WCHA, claiming the top spot in the coaches poll. Kirsten Sims was named the league's preseason player of the year, while Caroline Harvey was named preseason All-WCHA. Doesn't feel like hockey weather, that's for sure.
We haven't even gotten any rain, it seems like, let alone snow. That seems a long way away.
Pretty crunchy out there. The soil is very, very hard out there. And we're not having a lot of rainfall, unfortunately, in the forecast. Warm temperatures are going to stick around here for the foreseeable future. Dry through at least Friday. Rain chances this weekend. Some of the better rain chances I've seen for a couple of weeks. And we just had the remnants of Francine that really got evaporated this weekend. The upcoming weekend rains that we are anticipating Saturday, Sunday, maybe going on into Monday of next week. Better chances for southern Wisconsin, and hopefully we get a couple drops out of that.
I hope so. Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6. We'll be back here tonight at 10. Have a great evening.